Hey YouTube, how you all doing today? It is so wonderful to have you here with me. I'm glad you found your way back to my channel. Alrighty, so this one is all about the difference between a coach and a coaching program. Because here's the thing, I get the joy to work with a lot of people who have invested heavily in other coaching programs before they found me. And it's interesting because I see this happen quite a lot. And here's what I wish I could tell everybody before they even do one investment. In order to know which is the right program for you, you need to know where you are. And what I mean by where you are, I mean where you are in your business, because we always need to build a very strong, what I call the fundamentals, right? A very strong baseline. Every coach is going to tell you, every business coach will tell you the same thing. You need to know who you help, how you help them, specifically what problem you will solve for them, and that they have the funds to pay. Okay, because what we do is we give our time in exchange for income. It's just how the process works. It's the same for anybody. If you're in a corporate job, if you're in retail, it doesn't matter. You go, you give some hours, they give you some money. Same for coaching. So you can hire a one-to-one coach, and some of those will work, some won't. You can hire or be inside a coaching program, a container. But here's how you know what will work best for you. Some of the big name coaches have beautiful coaching programs, and we want to be inside their worlds because of the results they have achieved for themselves and for all of the testimonial results they have given us. Social proof, we talk about that all of the time. But here's the problem with social proof. Social proof is proving that they were able to get some people through to get those results. Great. But what if you're not that person yet? What if you're part of the 95%? Because that's what they don't tell you. They don't tell you, well, this is the 5% that got the result. That other 95% that made up my seven figures, well, they didn't quite get the result and they don't talk about them. So, how do we know where you best belong? I always say this. Firstly, you need to get my truth guide, the truth about building a business that lasts. Grab that if you haven't got that. You can either get it as a one pager, which has this pretty little graph. Oh, I used to have it right here in front of me. Sorry, let's grab it because I'm very proud of my pretty little diagram. This little diagram here, which just shows you what stage you're at. And what I also have in here is how we actually do build a business. And look, this is based on my many decades of helping startups, helping corporates launch or create new business income revenue streams or transformational projects. I've done a lot of this stuff, right? So there's always a pattern to what I see. But for you specifically, how do you know where you should be and how do you know that you were in the wrong place and that was why you didn't get the results? Because I know that often plays in our brains, right? Is that I tried it, it didn't work. I tried it, it didn't work. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Nope, that's not true. So what I want you to do is I want you to look back. I want you to look back over the last 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, and I want you to see if you have patterns of behavior that you can clearly identify. For example, were you somebody who stopped and started a lot? Did you chase a lot of shiny objects? Did you download a lot of things and try and piecemeal them together? Did you ever find yourself executing a strategy and then stopping after maybe the third or the eighth time because you didn't get the results? That's nothing to be worried about. That's just who we are. I relate to that, okay? That resembles me in many different ways. If we understand that about ourselves, then what we will also understand is that we do not necessarily need more information. I call that knowledge, and knowledge is the K in my think framework, which is what I base all of my coaching around, and which is what we use inside the club, my BFF club. Because here's what I know to be true. I can give you a perfect strategy to build a business step by step, day by day, week by week, hour by hour, who you will need to help you or what you will need to do, which software you should use, why you should use it. I can map it out perfectly for you. But if you have a habit of not being able to get out of your way and execute it, We call that self-sabotage, but it's more than that. It's just a pattern. And I want you to see these things as they are. They're just patterns. Some of it is so autopilot, we can't even identify it. So if you are that, don't go into one of these big coaching programs with one of the best in the business, right? Because what will happen is, although they give you fortnightly to weekly or monthly live coaching, you're not going to benefit from that because you're probably not going to execute in a way that has you feeling on top of the world and in belief. And so you're going to slowly but surely drop off. And I call those coaching programs, they are excellent. But here's the thing, they're like a self-paced coaching program because they are expecting you to come in and do the work. And like I said, 5% of people are able to do that because they've done what I call the fundamental work up front. Because yes, there's business fundamentals, but then there's your fundamentals. There's the ability for you to go, okay, this is who I am. This is who I want to be. This is what I also, in my Think framework, I call this the who filter. Who do you need to be to get these new results? That's the journey that is worth everything. Trust me, that's worth everything. So why do you need to, what do you need for that? You need a coach. No, I am not saying go one-to-one because some one-to-one coaches can't help you with this stuff. Here's what I do in my club. I make sure that I keep it small enough and intimate enough that when we have our live coaching sessions, provided you get yourself into the coaching session, and some of you don't. I've got some members who I have not seen, despite me constantly reaching out to them to go, you're paying me, get your butts in here. So then I have to talk to them in a different mechanism to get them in because that's something we do. We quit on ourselves because it gets too painful to constantly be trying and not succeeding. And so what happens in these live coaching calls is you get the opportunity to speak. That, my friends, is everything. Because when you get the opportunity to talk to me, and I make sure everybody can have the opportunity to speak out loud in person, live, then guess what happens? You start to hear your own voice. You then hear your thoughts. You can then break the patterns. It is a thing that is just magical. This is why coaching works. Because when we can see what we have been thinking in a new way, we immediately see the problems. Because I can tell you this is something that I learned not long ago, right? It blew my mind a little bit. In order for you to learn to ride a unicycle, you just need 10 hours of consistent effort, just 10 hours. Super simple, right? 10 hours. I've got 10 hours. Let me go ride this unicycle. But what you don't know until you start is that the first 9 hours, you'll be falling off the damn thing all the time. Now, it takes a lot of resilience. It takes a lot of mind management to get you to get back on that thing after 2 hours of falling off it, 3 hours of falling off it, 4 hours of falling off it, right? But because your expectation is probably, I can ride a bike, I can ride a unicycle, I can do this in an hour, you will only try so many times before you're going to quit, give up, and start to believe it's not for you. But in fact, you just needed to give it 10 hours of consistent practice because that's what we know to be true. Here's what I know about building a business to be true. You have to become the business owner. That could take you 100 hours, 1,000 hours, 2,000 hours, or more. Who cares? Because you can achieve it. And how do we achieve it? By becoming the version of us that does it, by asking ourselves really good questions instead of really bad questions. Because us as humans, we were wired. Why and how, right? But how do I do it? And we never know the how until we've done it. Also part of my H in my Think framework. And so what I want to advise you of is simply this. If you have tried to build your business and not succeeded, if you have tried to lose weight and not succeeded, if you have tried to learn a new language and not succeeded, it doesn't mean you can't. It just means we need to upgrade the way we think and we need help to do that. So going self-paced means you're going to get the curriculum. But the truth is, if you've struggled to stay consistent in your past, unless something changes, you will probably disappear again because you haven't built your tolerance, you haven't upgraded your resilience, and you haven't understand how to overcome the autopilot conversations you'll have in your brain. What you really should be looking for is actual out loud live coaching, someone to actually talk to, someone who can help you untangle all of the fears that roll around inside of your brain that you're not even aware of. And I'm going to keep reminding you, they are normal. We are wired this way. This is the human race. Welcome to it. We have our reptilian brain, which has us responding to everything. That is what all the animals have. Then we have our human part, the prefrontal cortex, that allows us to strategize, to plan. This is why, my friends, you never see. Although sometimes it looks like they are, but you'll never see animals in a circle planning a meeting and strategizing about what they're going to do next because they've just got your reptilian brain. I call him Larry, by the way, that reptilian brain where you're just responding, responding, responding. But what we actually need to do is we need to start planning. And if we're building something or growing something or creating something new, we need to plan in advance for all of the adversity we're going to fail at. That was a slip, but it actually is the truth that will get in our way, that will cause us to fail. And these are all of the fear thoughts of, I don't want to do that because I don't want to be seen. Oh, I can't publish that because maybe people won't like it. Oh, I can't say that because blah, 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 right? That's Larry. So what we need to do is we need to hear those I might fail stories. We need to hear all of the reasons you could be holding yourself back in a way that has you talking about them whilst in execution. Because don't get me wrong, we're not just talking here. We have a plan that we are executing, and that's what brings up all of these thoughts. It's genius. I love it. It's so empowering. So you're executing, building your business, or losing the weight, or getting fit, or learning a language, whatever it is. And that way, little Larry, all of the autopilot stuff, all of the reasons why you look back and see things that honestly, like me, I look back and I go, oh, I'm not proud of that. Oh, I wish I'd done that differently. That all can go away in a heartbeat because we've drawn the line and we said, this is my new self. This is who I'm going to be. This is how I'm going to execute. And we start to tackle it day by day. So we don't lose weeks, we don't lose months. Can you believe it's already September of 2025 when I'm recording this, right? So we don't lose all that time because we're checking ourselves. We are becoming aware. We're turning the light on and we're making decisions from who we want to be as opposed to who we are. And this is also why I feel like you need to be in a community of like-minded people because you need people to see you for who you want to be, not who you are. Because a lot of the people that we spend all the time with that are around us, they don't want us to change because there's comfort there. There's comfort in you being the same. That's why you hear about all of the people that suddenly run successful businesses losing all their friends or losing all of the weight because people don't like it. So this is where we do it in a community where we can hold ourselves accountable, but more importantly, grow our belief that this is who we are. This is who we've always been, so that we're not hearing all this negative crap from not just our own brains, but from the people we're surrounded with. Because here's the thing, when you start talking, when you start sharing what you're experiencing, your real thoughts will always come out. The ones that are actually running the show without you even knowing it. And that is how and when things start to change. So that's why I have my BFF club, because it's what I wish I had had when I had been starting out. And honestly, it's still what I wish I had. I wish the coaching program I was in was more like the club, because I know when I blah, 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 I get to see myself in a whole different way than if I just keep it inside my head. So if you're looking to finally break free of some patterns and start to overcome what have been habits of a lifetime, make sure you get into a program where you get to be actually coached live. It's not just a self-paced coaching program or one of the programs whereby you know you will never be coached by the coach. You're just there to show up and participate. And oftentimes how you know that that's what's going to happen is they're the ones that always say, it doesn't matter who's being coached, you're always going to benefit from it because you'll see yourself in it. Now, there is truth to that. Don't get me wrong, truth to that. But there is nothing more powerful than having yourself coached. So yeah, that's the difference to me between a coach and a coaching program, what you need to be looking for. If you are somebody in the 5% who can just take something now because you know you have guaranteed surety that you can just execute it and you do not need anybody to hold your hand. And here's how you really know that your tolerance for failure is super high. You know you are going to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep figuring it out, keep trying. You don't need one how because you know that the goal is I'm going to do this and you just keep working through it until you reach it. If that is your pattern right now, go and do anything. You are more than capable. But if you're more like I was wired, more like I can still be to this day, to be quite transparent with you, that you need the help, the guidance, the, oh shit, that's what I'm thinking. I didn't even know it until I said it out loud. Then make sure you're in a program where you get at least weekly coaching. Why weekly? Because your brain, your beautiful brain, he can come up with lots of things in 7 days. And if you're not having that touch point, you will find yourself losing lots of time again. And you already know that to be true. So there, I just thought I would come in and explain the difference to me when you're trying to build your business or create a new goal in your life. And if you don't set goals, that's an indication to me that you don't like to fail because you should have some goals and you should have a big hairy ass goal as well. Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed this ramble. If you did, as always, please give me a thumbs up and let me know. And if you feel so inclined, feel free to comment below. And you can always direct message me or email me at liz@lbfundamentals.com, or below is all my links and things, because I actually still read every single email that I get and I also reply to it. That is not something my team does, that's what I do. So I would love to hear from you. And if you have any questions that you would like for me to answer in a ramble, then again, just ask me and I am happy to give you an answer. So with that, I wish you a happy day. Go out and be magnificent, and I will hopefully catch you in the next one. Bye.